Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, True Wellness Hub. Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt that sharp, annoying pain in your knees and thought, maybe squats just aren't for me anymore? Here's the surprising truth. After 50, the problem often isn't that your legs are too weak for exercise so that the wrong exercises are putting too much pressure on your knees. And believe it or not, there are several movements that can strengthen your legs better than squats, while actually being kinder to your joints. Today, we're going to walk through 5 simple, knee-friendly leg exercises that many physical therapists recommend. For adults over 50, these movements help build strength in your thighs, glutes, and hips, the muscles that support and protect your knees. And the best part, you can do most of them right at home with little or no equipment. Let's start with something important that many people don't realize. As we age, our knees naturally go through changes. Cartilage becomes thinner, the fluid that lubricates the joint decreases, and muscles around the knee, especially the quadriceps and glutes, often become weaker. When those muscles weaken, the knee joint ends up taking on more stress than it should. That's one reason traditional squats can become uncomfortable for many people after 50. Squats are in necessarily bad, but they place a large amount of compressive force on the knee joint, especially if your form isn't perfect, or if your hip muscles aren't strong enough to stabilize the movement. What's interesting is that many knee problems actually start above the knee, not inside it. Weak hips and glutes allow the knee to drift inward during movement, which increases pressure on the joint. That's why the exercises we're about to discuss focus not just on the thighs, but also on the muscles that stabilize your hips and pelvis. And the first exercise is one of the most underrated leg strengthening movements you can do. It's called the glute bridge. At first glance, it may look simple, but don't let that fool you. This movement activates some of the most important muscles for protecting your knees, the glutes and hamstrings. To do a glute bridge, lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Your feet should be about hip-width apart, positioned close enough that you can touch your heels with your fingertips. From here, press your heels into the floor and slowly lift your hips upward until your body forms a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Hold the position for about 2 seconds, squeezing your glutes at the top, then slowly lower your hips back down. That's 1 repetition. What makes the glute bridge so powerful is that it strengthens the posterior chain, the muscles on the back side of your body. These muscles help stabilize your hips and take pressure off the knees during everyday movements like walking, climbing stairs, and standing up. Research has shown that strong glutes play a major role in knee alignment and injury prevention. When the glutes are weak, the knees tend to collapse inward during movement, which can irritate the joint over time. For beginners, start with about 10 repetitions and repeat for 2 or 3 sets. Move slowly and focus on controlled movement rather than speed. If you want to make the exercise slightly more challenging later on, you can hold the top position for 5 seconds or place a light resistance band around your thighs. Many physical therapists actually use glute bridges as a foundational exercise for people recovering from knee injuries, because they allow you to build strength without placing heavy load directly on the knee joint. Now let's move on to the second exercise. And this one is fantastic for strengthening the thighs without irritating the knees. It's called the wall sit. Wall sits are interesting because they work your quadriceps, the large muscles on the front of your thighs, without requiring the repetitive up and down movement that can aggravate sensitive knees. To perform a wall sit, stand with your back against a wall and your feet about 2 feet away from it. Slowly slide your back down the wall until your knees are bent, as if you're sitting in an invisible chair. Ideally, your knees should be at about a 90-degree angle, but if that feels uncomfortable, you can stay a little higher. The goal is simply to hold the position. Once you're there, keep your back flat against the wall and hold the position for 10 to 30 seconds. You'll likely start to feel your thighs working within a few seconds. What's happening here is something called isometric muscle contraction. That means your muscles are working hard without actually changing length. This type of exercise is often easier on joints because there's less movement and friction inside the joint. Wall sits can significantly strengthen the quadriceps, which are essential for stabilizing the knee joint. Strong quads help absorb shock when you walk, climb stairs, or stand up from a seated position. Another advantage of wall sits is that they help improve muscular endurance, which becomes increasingly important as we age. Strong endurance in your leg muscles helps prevent fatigue, which can reduce the risk of falls. If holding the position for 30 seconds feels too easy, you can gradually increase it to 45 seconds or even a full minute. But if 30 seconds feels challenging, that's perfectly fine. The goal is progress, not perfection. Now, the third exercise might surprise you because it's something you've probably done thousands of times in your life without thinking about it. But when done correctly, it becomes one of the most effective leg strengthening exercises for people over 50. It's the step-up. Step-ups mimic a very natural movement pattern, climbing stairs. And when performed in a controlled way, they strengthen the quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings, while also improving balance and coordination. To do a step-up, find a sturdy step, low bench, or staircase. Place one foot on the step, press through your heel, and lift your body upward until both feet are on the step. Then slowly step back down with control. One key tip here is to focus on pushing through the heel of the leading foot rather than pushing off the back foot. This ensures the working leg is doing most of the effort. Step-ups are extremely functional because they train the muscles used in everyday activities. And unlike deep squats, they allow you to control the depth and intensity of the movement. You can start with a step that's only 6 to 8 inches high. As your strength improves, you can increase the height slightly, or hold light dumbbells for added resistance. Another big benefit of step-ups is that they also challenge balance, which becomes increasingly important with age. Improving balance can significantly reduce the risk of falls, one of the leading causes of injury among adults over 50. But here's something many people overlook when training their legs. Strength alone isn't enough. Your body also needs stability, especially around the knee joint. That's exactly where the fourth exercise comes in. It's one of the simplest movements you can do, yet it targets a muscle group that plays a critical role in knee health. And interestingly, this muscle is often one of the weakest in people over 50, even if they stay active. The exercise is called the side-lying leg raise. The side-lying leg raise may look incredibly simple, but it targets one of the most important muscles for knee stability, the gluteus medius, a small but powerful muscle located on the side of your hip. Many knee specialists say that weak hip muscles are one of the most common hidden causes of knee pain. When the gluteus medius is weak, the pelvis becomes unstable during walking or standing on one leg. That instability causes the knee to collapse inward slightly with each step, creating unnecessary stress on the joint. Over time, that repeated stress can lead to irritation, inflammation, and discomfort in the knee. Strengthening this muscle can dramatically improve knee alignment and reduce joint strain. To perform the side-lying leg raise, lie on one side with your legs stacked on top of each other. Keep your bottom leg slightly bent for balance, and keep your top leg straight. Now slowly lift your top leg upward about 12 to 18 inches. Make sure your toes point forward rather than upward. This helps target the correct muscle. Hold the position briefly at the top, then slowly lower the leg back down. The movement should be slow and controlled. You don't need to lift the leg extremely high. In fact, lifting it too high often means other muscles are taking over. A moderate lift with good control is far more effective. Start with about 10 to 12 repetitions on each side, and work your way up to 2 or 3 sets. At first, you may feel a gentle burning sensation on the outside of your hip. That's perfectly normal. This means the gluteus medius is doing its job. This muscle plays a crucial role in everyday movement. Every time you walk, your body briefly balances on one leg while the other leg swings forward.
Nice.
During that moment, the gluteus medius works to keep your pelvis stable and your knee properly aligned. When this muscle is strong, it helps prevent excessive knee movement that can irritate the joint. Now we come to the fifth and final exercise, and this one is incredibly practical because it directly improves one of the most common movements people struggle with as they age: standing up from a chair. This exercise is called the sit-a-stand, and it's one of the most functional strength exercises you can do. Think about how many times a day you sit down and stand up, getting out of bed, getting up from the couch, leaving the dining table, getting out of a car. If your leg muscles are weak, this simple movement becomes harder and harder over time. But the sit-to-stand exercise trains the exact muscles needed for that motion: the quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings. And unlike traditional squats, it provides a built-in safety guide The chair. To perform it, sit on a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor about hip-width apart. Your knees should be bent at roughly a right angle. From there, lean your chest slightly forward, press through your heels, and slowly stand up. Once fully standing, pause for a moment, then slowly sit back down with control. Try not to drop quickly into the chair. Lower yourself gently so the muscles stay engaged. At first, you can use your hands on the armrests or on your thighs for assistance if needed. As your strength improves, try to perform the movement without using your hands. For beginners, aim for about 8 to 10 repetitions. What makes the sit-a-stand exercise so valuable is that it builds real-life strength. The movement directly translates to everyday independence. In fact, many geriatric fitness assessments use the sit-a-stand test to measure lower body strength and mobility in older adults. Stronger legs mean greater independence, better balance, and a lower risk of falls. And here's something encouraging. Studies consistently show that adults over 50, 60, and even 70 can still build significant muscle strength with regular exercise. The body remains remarkably adaptable, even later in life. The key is choosing movements that support your joints rather than overload them. So let's quickly recap the 5 knee-friendly exercises we talked about today. The glute bridge, which strengthens the glutes and hamstrings to reduce knee stress. The wall sit, which builds powerful quadriceps through joint-friendly isometric contraction. The step up, which improves functional strength and balance. The side-lying leg raise, which strengthens the hip stabilizers that protect knee alignment. And finally, the sit-a-stand, which develops practical strength for everyday movements. If you perform these exercises consistently 2 to 3 times per week, you may start noticing improvements in leg strength, stability, and overall comfort in your knees. Start slowly, focus on good form, and remember that progress doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful. Even small improvements in strength can make daily life feel easier and more comfortable. And perhaps most importantly, listen to your body. Mild muscle fatigue is normal, but sharp pain in the joints is a signal to stop and adjust. Your goal isn't to push through pain, it's to build strength safely so your knees stay healthy for years to come. Now one more thing many people over 50 overlook that can make these exercises even more effective for protecting your knees. Before we wrap up, there's one simple habit that can make these exercises work much better for your knees, and surprisingly, it has nothing to do with working harder. It's consistency and muscle activation. Many people think they need long, exhausting workouts to strengthen their legs. But research consistently shows that shorter, consistent sessions done with good form can be far more effective than occasional intense workouts. In fact, doing these exercises 2 or 3 times per week, focusing on slow and controlled movement, can gradually rebuild strength in the muscles that protect your knees. Another helpful tip is to pay attention to how your muscles feel during each exercise. When you perform movements like glute bridges or step-ups, try to consciously squeeze the glutes and keep your knees aligned with your toes. This small adjustment improves muscle activation and helps your body relearn healthier movement patterns. And remember, strong legs aren't just about exercise, they're also about daily movement. Simple habits like walking regularly, taking the stairs when comfortable, standing up and stretching every hour can keep the joints lubricated and the muscles active. Our bodies are designed to move, and even small amounts of movement throughout the day help maintain joint health. Another important piece of the puzzle is mobility. Tight hips and stiff ankles can shift stress onto the knees, gentle stretching for the calves, hamstrings. And hip flexors can improve how your legs move and reduce pressure on the knee joint during daily activities. The big picture is this: knee pain after 50 doesn't mean you need to stop exercising. In many cases, it means your body simply needs the right kind of strength training. By focusing on knee-friendly movements like the ones we talked about today, you're not only building stronger legs, you're also supporting balance, protecting your joints, and maintaining the independence that allows you to keep doing the things you enjoy. And the best part is that it's never too late to start. The human body is incredibly adaptable. Muscles can grow stronger, joints can become more stable, and movement can become easier even decades later than most people expect. So if squats have been uncomfortable for you, don't worry. you have other powerful options that can strengthen your legs while being kinder to your knees. Start with just a few repetitions, stay consistent, and give your body time to adapt. Because strong, stable legs aren't indeed just about fitness, they are about freedom of movement for the years ahead. And if you found these exercises helpful, try incorporating them into your weekly routine and see how your knees feel over the next few weeks. Many people are surprised by how quickly their strength and confidence begin to improve. Your knees support you every day, and with the right care and training, they can continue doing that for a very long time.